Through generations of struggle, resilience, and unwavering hope, the Palestinian spirit remains unbroken. This is Sumud, the steadfast resistance. Sumud is an Arabic word which stands for steadfastness or perseverance. It gives strength and determination to exist and thrive against all odds and severe hardships. Sumud is a central part of Palestinian identity and culture. Sumud is about strong determination, preserving one's heritage, and showing resilience and maintaining dignity and despite all odds. Sumud symbolizes the olive tree standing firm in a storm, unshakable. It is standing up against house demolitions, bulldozers, and the destruction of the refugee camps. Determination to survive under very hard conditions. Living in tents where their house once stood, children playing in the remains of their house, and symbolic things like recovering a bike from the rubble of their house and pushing it away. These all symbolizes unwavering belief and hope that justice will prevail one day. This is more than survival. This is unshakable defense against strong resilience. This is the Palestinian Sumud. Sumud is stitched into the fabric of Palestinian life. It is a way of coping with injustice and trauma. It is a way of protecting family and community and survival. It is a steadfast resistance to occupation and refusal to abandon their homes, their lands, their olive groves. Every kafia worn, every song sung in the homeland's name, this is an act of Sumud. Now kafia has become a symbol of support for Palestinians, and many Western leaders wear that too. Here we are examining how Sumud and strong faith help the Palestinians who are surviving through the atrocious genocidal war, a war that killed more than hundreds of thousands of and maimed many more. Most of them were innocent civilians and women and children. A war produced the largest number of orphans, a war that resulted in the largest cohort of amputee children in the world in proportion to the population. A war that cut off food, water and medicine, forcing starvation. A war that reduced Gaza, a small strip of land but home to 2.2 million Palestinians, to a wasteland or a demolition site and made it unlivable. As Israel dropped 85,000 tons of explosives, more than the explosives used in World War II, or in short, a war that created the largest human carnage in recent history. Israel bombed indiscriminately all throughout Gaza. But when an explosion happened, people ran away from the site to protect themselves, because every flying object can be a projectile, causing serious bodily harm. But after the initial explosions were over, they ran back to the site, trying to recover the injured and the dead, often digging through the rubble using their bare hands, as Israel did not allow heavy machinery or fuel. As you can see from these pictures, those trapped in the ruins are being pulled out using bare hands and very limited things what they have. A strong sign that no matter the intensity of the hardship, the Palestinians will not give up the steadfastness and determination to stay and live in their land. This is Sumud.
لا بيجي ده شيل عليه بس لا هي خلاص من الطرف ايش دايس عليه طبعا هذا كان قاعد بصلي تم استهداف البيت كان بصلي ساجد البيت السقف مطبوق عليه.
Israel systematically and purposefully targeted hospitals and medical professionals. Often the hospitals are besieged Patients and doctors are expelled, bombed, and sometimes even burnt. They cut the electricity and destroyed generators and oxygen units. Those who didn't follow the instructions of the occupation forces faced death or detention, then humiliation and torture. Despite all of these, Palestinian doctors and medical professionals stood on their feet and provided care to their ward. When there was no power, they operated on patients using mobile lights, performed surgery without anesthetics. One notable person is Dr. Adnan Al-Bursh, who refused to abandon the patients when they needed him the most, an act of defiance and steadfastness. Unfortunately, he paid the price with his life. Israeli forces detained him, later tortured and reportedly raped him to death in an Israeli prison.
The only information we got was from someone who got released, and they said that Dr. Adnan was badly tortured. He was hanged from both hands and he was found dead. It's not only Dr. Adnan, it's many of the healthcare workers who were arrested. We know nothing about them.
The Israelis have refused to release his body to his family to be buried. They refused to allow his lawyers to go in and get an autopsy.
Another notable figure is Dr. Hussam Abu Safia, director of Kamal Adwan Hospital. In the largest refugee camp in Gaza, Jabalia, Israel troops raided and destroyed the last functioning hospitals in the north of Gaza. Although he was injured, Dr. Abu Safia stayed and cared for the patients until the last moment. Also, he lost his teenage son in an Israeli drone attack. Despite all the odds, he remained firm until the very last moment. He was captured and detained and tortured. His whereabouts are unknown at this point in time. He is a symbol of heroism and Palestinian Sumud.
Everything we ever built, they burnt to the ground. They set our hearts on fire. They killed my son. Dr. Hossam was last seen walking towards an Israeli tank through the ruins of northern Gaza at the end of December. A released Palestinian prisoner has claimed that Dr. Hossam was being held in the next-door cell as him at the Steadfastness prison in Israel, a notorious facility which was recently accused of abusing prisoners.
As of July 2025, almost 1,600 Palestinian health and medical professionals have been killed in Gaza since 7th October 2023. Many more were arbitrarily arrested, including many paramedics and first responders. By killing doctors and destroying medical facilities, decades of professional experience and skills have been wiped out, producing long-term suffering for Palestinians. In March 2025, Israeli forces slaughtered 15 paramedics and rescue workers in Rafah while they were on duty and buried them in a mass grave, destroyed their vehicle and buried that too to hide any evidence.
Refat Redwan was one of 15 killed.
His phone was found with his body and he recorded the whole event. His last words before being shot: "Forgive me, Mom. I just wanted to help people. I wanted to save lives."
The footage only emerged when teams could safely reach this site 7 days later. The bodies were buried along with the vehicles.
While more and more health professionals were being killed, young professionals like Zakaria started taking up the role. See the 11-year-old Zakaria. Again, this is a sign of Sumud, determination to survive under hard conditions and to help others. When the hospitals in Gaza are bombed to rubble, they started building field hospitals, sometimes with the help of foreign agencies and countries. They even rebuilt the bombed hospitals and made it functioning again.
There are 800,000 Palestinians still in the northern part of Gaza. There's no sign of the Palestinian people giving up. We haven't defeated Israel, but Israel has not defeated us. It's tried to wipe us out. The Israeli military campaign relies on the idea that if you can't defeat them, drown them in their own blood.
All the hospitals now are either working partially or half capacity, which is really good after the total destruction of the health system. So there was no single hospital in Gaza left without being targeted. Now they are all functioning, even if partially, even if like one department in one hospital. So this is with time, with the resilience we have, we will rebuild the hospitals. So I believe the rebuilding of the health system, if we say it's done in stages, we are in stage 1 and 2. We are rebuilding the health system, we don't stop.
Many people, including journalists and Western doctors who worked in Gaza, refer to Palestinian doctors and medical personnel as real heroes due to their bravery and dedication in the face of extreme adversity and severe shortage of resources. They risk their own lives to save others, working in dangerous conditions and under immense pressure. At Al-Awda Hospital in Jabalia refugee camp, Dr. Muhammad Abu Nujaila wrote on a whiteboard just prior to their forced eviction from the hospital. The post reads, "Whoever stays until the end will tell the story. We did what we could. Remember us." They were a testament to resilience and steadfastness, a final message of defense, an act of Sumud. Sadly, a month later, he was also killed along with 2 of his colleagues in an Israeli airstrike. For many, resistance is seen in protest and demonstrations. But Sumud is different. It is a part of daily life. The decision to live with dignity in the face of oppression and occupation. Parents send their children to school under occupation. Shopkeepers open their doors despite military blockades. And families rebuild their homes after each demolition. More importantly, journalists report from the war field. In every act of perseverance, they declare, "We are here to stay." From the start of the war, Israel has blocked the entry of all international journalists. Why? Because Israel doesn't want the world to know what they are doing and the absolute truth. Nevertheless, local Palestinian journalists took up the mandate and streamed to the world what was happening and what is going over there now, all through this genocidal war. They did so with courage and audacity, but sadly, Israeli forces targeted them systematically and assassinated one by one. Many were wiped out, including their families. More than 230 journalists have been killed between October 2023 and July 2025. Despite international law dictating that journalists must be protected, these are stories of few of them. Notable among them are Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh, who was gunned down in West Bank while she was reporting by an Israeli sniper. She was a highly acclaimed journalist and a household name in every Palestinian house. Journalist Wael, whose family members was killed while he was in the field reporting in Gaza, but he vowed to continue and remain in his job. He was also a highly regarded journalist. He is out of the scene now as he is seriously injured. freelance journalist Hossam Shabat with lots of followers and regularly reported from North Gaza for Al Jazeera and US-based Dropside News. He knew very well that his life was in danger, but he continued his job. Israeli tracked and killed him in March 2025 while on duty. Very famous and highly talented photojournalist Fatima Hassouna was another victim of Israel's brutal campaign against journalists. She was also known as the Eye of Gaza. Also, she was a war documentarian. She documented massacres through her lens, amid bombardments and gunfire, capturing the people's pain and screams in her photographs. She was assassinated with 10 of her family members, including her pregnant sister, just few days before screening a documentary about her life in Gaza in Cannes Film Festival. She said, "If I die, I want a loud death." Obviously, Israel doesn't want the people like her to become celebrities, let alone journalists. While putting a press jacket is a sign of protection everywhere in the world, in Gaza, a press jacket becomes a target of assassination. When more journalists are killed, many fill the void by putting on the press jacket and helmet. Journalists like Hind Kudri, Hani Mahmoud, and freelance journalist Bizan Auda continue to report despite serious risk to their own lives. Bizan's social media post titled "It is Bizan from Gaza, I'm Still Alive" caught world attention and won Emmy Award. Even children started putting on the press vest and helmet and started streaming on their own genocide. See the 11-year-old girl journalist Sumaya. This is a shock defense and Sumud. Early July 2025, Israel bombed a beachside cafe in Gaza, killing many, including journalists and women and children, who came there to get a breathing space from the daily bombardment. The cafe is also a popular hangout place for journalists. When more journalists were killed in one go, a young girl appeared from somewhere and broadcasted to the world the cafe massacre.
Coffee shops in Gaza City following 21 months of relentless Israeli bombardment that devastated most of the strips, leisure venues in Gaza City. People were turning to this coffee shop, to this place, for a short respite amid the relentless and escalating Israeli attacks. Yesterday, it was bombed by Israeli forces, leaving this big hole in one of the sides of this coffee shop. Around 33 Palestinians were actually killed during the attack, according to Gaza's Ministry of Health, including journalists and artists. For example, 32-year-old photojournalist Ismail Abu Hatab was killed in the attack, in addition to female boxer Malak Mislih, also a Palestinian visual artist Amina Al-Salmi was killed in the attack. In addition to these, dozens of people were injured, including Palestinian female journalist Bayan Abu Sultan.
Israel destroyed 90% of the schools and 100% of universities. All have been demolished intentionally, including UN-run schools, aiming to destroy the hopes and future of the young Palestinians. Education in Palestine is a symbol of pride and is highly valued. Literacy rate among Palestinians is very high, with highly qualified professionals. Nevertheless, when schools were bombed, they created schools in the rubble, in their tents.
More than 80% of schools in Gaza have been damaged or destroyed since the Israeli aggression began, leaving over 600,000 students without access to formal education. For children like Qassem, school now means a patch of dirt, plastic chairs, and used pencils. But inside this tent, there's something more powerful than war.
We used to carry books and pens to real schools. Now everything is bombed. But here, we study again. We feel like students again.
It hasn't been easy. Space is limited. Supplies are scarce. But families now bring their children, trusting Bisan's tent to shelter dreams.
When mosques were bombed, Palestinians prayed in the rubble of the mosque and celebrated Eid in the ruins. The power of Sumud. No hardships would change them. Throughout the brutal war and Israeli bombings on Gaza, they were forced to flee from place to place while they were constantly targeted wherever they were, like someone chasing cockroaches. Despite never leaving Gaza, they only moved within Gaza. When Israel finally besieged North Gaza, cut the food, water and medicine and bombed it continuously for over 100 days, killing thousands and thousands. During the last month of 2024, many were forced to flee to the south. But during the brief ceasefire in January 2025, Palestinians rushed to return to the rubble of what was once their home, a great march of return, enduring long hours of walking and hardship. They set up tents where their homes once stood, tried to rebuild their life under extreme conditions. This is Sumud, a message: we are here to stay. Even in the face of immense tragedy, such as the recent massive attacks on Gaza, the spirit of Sumud endures. Families who lost everything continues to stand. Communities shattered by airstrikes come together to rebuild. A mother carrying the weight of an unimaginable grief still finds the strength to tell her child that tomorrow will be better. This is the essence of Sumud, a refusal to be broken, no matter how relentless the oppression. Sumud is not only cultural, it is a political strategy. It is a refusal to be erased, the resilience in advocating for rights, and insistence on self-determination. Sumud is a tool of resistance that defies oppression and occupation through steadfast presence and unity. Sumud empowers Palestinians to face extreme and unbearable hardships while providing them with a sense of purpose and duty of care.
They keep reminding us that all of them, whether they are doctors, patients, anybody living in Gaza right now, have the same needs. It's been 5 months of non-sleep, of looking for their basic needs, like having no access to water or food, having sometimes no place to even call home, no shelter, no place to sleep. They feel like they are under constant threat, they live in constant fear, ongoing stress, anxiety. They all suffer from insomnia, and then they still come to work in the morning or stay in the hospital to work at night.
Sumud is the heartbeat of Palestine. It is the promise that no occupation and oppression can erase the people's identity. No wall can divide their dreams, and no force can silence their hope. This is more than resistance. This is existence. This is Sumud.